Hi, I'm Andrew Willison from the Trek Store Toronto. This time of year we have a lot of people bringing their bikes in for a tune-up. Today I'd like to take you through some important steps you should be doing before taking your bike out on the trails for the first time. Let's start by putting your bike up in the bike stand. First, I like to check the wheels. Give your wheel a spin to make sure it's running nice and true. Check to make sure there's no loose, broken, or bent spokes. Check your tires to make sure there's no dry rotting and there's still some good tread life left in it. Next, I like to check the brakes. Check to make sure they're running nice and smoothly and they're stopping the bike. Then move on to your gears. You want to run through your gears, going through each gear to make sure it's shifting properly and precisely. Check your cables to make sure there's no rusting or fraying. At this time, you can also check your chain. You want to check your chain to make sure it's properly lubricated and there's no stiff links in the chain. If you're riding a full suspension bike, you're going to want to check your linkage. You want to check your linkage to make sure that there's no play in the linkage and check all the pivot bolts to make sure they're properly tightened. You also want to check that there's a proper amount of pressure in the rear shock and the front shock for your body weight. Finally, I like to check stem bolts, handlebar bolts, seat post bolts to make sure they're properly tightened. You can also check your crank bolts to make sure that is also properly tightened. Checking over your bike is good practice. You should do this at the beginning of every season. You should also check it before every ride. If you have any questions, please drop by the store. For Canadian Cycling Magazine, I'm Andrew Willison. Enjoy your ride.